Okay, hey everyone. I'm Dr. Nancy Stanley and I am in my kitchen and this is a as-is day. But I was fixing up these collards and I'm like, some of these folks may not know how to cook collards. So here's the collard, all right? This is what they look like. As you see, I've already washed these, but I wanted to show you how I do it. So I cut off the ends. It was a big old bunch of them, all right? So I cut the ends off, because you don't want those stalks. I mean, you're going to have some stalks, but if you buy those that are already bagged and cut up, they're going to have a lot of stalks in them. I end up picking out so many stalks, and I'm just like, gosh, I don't have many collards left. So, hey, Alexis, thanks for joining me. All right, so I got my water running. I'm going to go leaf by leaf.
Connecting to the internet.
Uh-oh.
Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Cancel, Alexa. Okay. So I'm washing it on both sides, put my hands in here, wash it on both sides, and then I'm going to pull the stem out. You see that stem right there? I'm going to pull it out just like that, and I'm going to throw it over there. And then here's another leaf. I'm going to wash it on each side. I'm going to actually scrub it because they do spray these collards. These weren't organic collards. And even the organic ones, they'll be spraying those too. So I'm just going to wash it leaf by leaf. Leaf by leaf, that's how you have to do it. But it makes a whole bunch. So you see I'm finishing up washing these. I've already done about half, or well, most of this bunch. And when I get down to the small leaves, I don't really pull out the stems because it's not really that thick. Now that one is kind of thick, so I'm going to pull it out. And I got my grease, I had bacon drippings in the first batch, but this batch I don't have any bacon dripping. So I'm just going to use, now I want you to watch me. I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to turn this around, and I'm just going to cut these. I'm just going to cut them up just like this. Yep, here we go. As you can see, I'm in the rough right now. All right, so I'm cutting these up just like this in a little, more, and you can put them in there without cutting them up, but I just find out they're easier to cook this way. So I'm cutting them up. I'm going to move my oil. Okay, so let me turn around here so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. Here's my pot. And I love this squatty pot. It's a Biltmore pot, and I love it. So I'm taking my avocado oil. This is the oil I love to use, and I'm just going to put in about 2 or 3 tablespoons, not too much, and I'm going to let that get hot. All right, so you see what else I've got here. These are some ribs. These are baby back ribs that I cooked in my Instant Pot right here. You can see it. There it is. I cooked them in that and with a little bit of vinegar and then some rub. And I took them out after they were done. I cooked them for about 22 minutes, okay? I took them out and then I cut them and I put sauce on them, all right? And then I'm going to put them in the oven and broil them so they're brown. So these are maybe not quite as good. I'm going to turn that on broil. Oop. Yep. So these are maybe not quite as good as grilled on the grill, but I like them that way occasionally. So you see I've got my greens here, and they're going to have some water in them. So when I put them over in here, they're gonna fry. You're going to hear them start to fry. And that's the sound that I love. Because, all right, so then I get my, I'm looking for my, whatever, but I'm just going to start stirring them. That's what I do. So let me pull my thing over here. I look like, what's that woman that I see, Brenda, that everybody follows? Yeah. All right, so I'm just cooking up these collards, and here's what we're going to have. We're going to have those. All right. This is the first batch that I did, all right? And I'm just going to let these cook down. I may need to put a little water in those. I think I will. Hang with me a little bit. Okay. I'm going to put a little water in there just so they'll cook down. But what you're looking for is something like this. Now, you get this at those high-end restaurants along with your whatever, and they cost a lot of money, but this was $2.98 for this big old bunch, and I'm going to have enough collards for a couple of days, but they're so nutritious. They've got so much good nutrition in them. So I'm just going to stand here and keep cooking on these, and they're gonna be good while I've got my ribs over here in the oven. They're broiling. And then the other thing that I'm gonna have that I don't have often, and I'm not gonna eat very much of it because I don't eat much rice because it does have a lot of carbs. It's not really a ketogenic food, but this was, I had wild rice and regular rice, so I put in like a half a cup of wild rice and a half a cup of regular rice, and I cooked it in the juice from the ribs. And so it's going to be kind of like backbone and rice, I guess you'd say. But that's what we're having for dinner. So what are you having for dinner? Let me hear from you. I love to get in this kitchen and throw down a meal. And my family loves it when I cook, especially this is the kind of food we love. So meat and vegetable. And I threw in the rice. You don't have to have the rice. We could just have the ribs and the greens, and we'd be happy with it. Or maybe some keto bread. I have a recipe for keto bread that it's like cornbread that we make, but I'm not making that tonight since I did the rice. Okay, so let me hear from you. Thanks for joining me. If this was something you wanted to learn how to do, how to cook collards, you didn't know how, then I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna keep tossing these. Now I will be putting in some salt. Okay, so I'm just gonna salt them around. You know, probably, I don't know. I don't ever measure. I just salt them, you know, and then I'm going to put the rest of these that I had already cooked in here, and I'm just going to let them go. I'm going to cover them and just let them cook for probably about, you know, maybe 30 minutes. Just let them simmer for about 30 minutes. But one thing, you know, people think you have to really let collards cook a long time, but those you get at those high-end restaurants, they just saute them. They really just kind of grill them in the pan, you know. And so that's what I'm going to do with these, and they're going to be delicious. So thanks for joining me, and we'll talk soon.